أوكي، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما تعلمنا وزدنا بفضلك علما وتعليما إنك على كل شيء قدير. Okay, here 79 here. فويل للذين يكتبون الكتاب بأيديهم ثم يقولون هذا من عند الله ليشتروا به ثمنا قليلا فويل لهم مما كتبت أيديهم وويل لهم مما يكسبون. Okay, Bismillah. I guess start with Ammar.
Shall I?
I see
Okay.
Ammar too much, so let's start with Yusuf. I'll go opposite direction.
Okay.
Here.
79.
Bismillah. 79, Sheikh Yusuf.
بسم الله. هلاك ودمار وعذاب للذين
Damar, not Dimar.
اه
Yeah,
يعني
Damar.
ودمار وعذاب للذين يحرفون التوراة بأيديهم بأيديهم الأثيمة.
Good. So here, notice how this word begins with the indefinite word. Halakun wa damarun wa adhabun lak. Right? To you, whatever. So you say it's so that there's two different phrases here. One is things like tabban lak or shukran lak. That is not really a jumla ismiya. That's a kind of jumla fi'liya, right? Subhanak, afwak, afwan, right? That's nasb. Okay, that's slightly different. Okay, here it is a jumla ismiya, but it starts with an indefinite word because it's a du'a. Waylul lak, halakun lak, um, uh, something like that. Trying to think of another example. Tuba lil ghuraba, right? Tuba is indefinite. Tuba lil ghuraba. Good news, right? Literally a good news, right? So here, how is it possible to have an indefinite mubtada? It's because it's a dua, right? So that's one of the like like one of I don't know 40 musawwirat, right? And Sheikh Ammar is another example, right, of what we were talking about just now. Is where do you find, for example, 40 different reasons why you could have an indefinite mubtada? Hashid Khudri and Ibn Aqil, super late, right? So it's very useful to read that first, and then I'm going to go and see Muqtadab, in Nahu. We're going to go read Kitab Sibawayh and go and read, I don't know, something really old, right? Does that make sense, Ammar? So the same idea that Khalaf is always a way to the Salaf. Okay, so that was that. Okay, so a punishment للذين يحرفون التوراة بأيديهم الأثيمة. Go ahead.
فهم يعلمون أنه من عند أنفسهم
من عندي.
من عند أنفسهم
مهم.
وهم يزعمون في
مهم.
المحافل أنه
زعم يزعم. هم
يزعم
يزعمون. مهم.
وهم يزعمون من المحافل أنه من عند الله.
في المحافل. So we had an order, right? Sheikh Mahmoud, محفل or محفل, like a gathering.
Yeah, Mahfil is singular and Mahafil is plural
Yeah,
for
which
gatherings.
what does it mean in Urdu?
Gatherings, Mahafil,
Yeah.
same.
Yeah. Okay, right. So وهم so in the gatherings, I mean when they're around certain people, right? When they're in public, when in public, basically, they say it's from Allah.
مم. هم يزعمون في المحافل أنه من عند الله ويوهمون يوهمون
Yuhimuna. They
مم.
make people have the wahm. They delude others to think that.
مم. ويوهمون أنه من التوراة آه، ليقبضوا قيمة التحريف شيئا خسيسا
Hmm.
من الدنيا
Hmm. What did you
فعذاب.
get? So the thing is, that's everything in the dunya. It's khasis. Like, what did you get? What did you benefit? You know, like, this woman needed you. What, like, here's a sister. Like, why did you, like? This is classic, right? Why do you dress inappropriately? To prove that I'm also in that world of being sexually attractive. Okay, what did you get from it? Did you manage to sleep with like 50,000 gorgeous, amazing men, and it was like super amazing? Nope. Did you sleep with anybody? Nope. So what happened then? You just walked down the street, but you felt confident about yourself, and nobody noticed you. You know? So what did you get? Like, what? How did you benefit? Like this is actually how they're doing. Like you see how people do things. Like what did you actually get? Like you didn't get anything. Like, it's never worth it. You know, if I call her, it'll be like this. Okay, what's gonna happen when you call her? Okay, great. And then what's gonna happen? Okay, she's gonna call me back. Again, then what's gonna happen? Like it's all of these equations, like they never add up. It doesn't make any sense. The bank job was never worth it. Oh, I got $40 million. Yeah, but it wasn't worth it. How you live life afterwards, and this and this and this. It's actually never worth it. It's a Faustian deal that's never worth it. So they get something like, oh, you got status. Okay, and then what? Like what you lose out on. Like subhanAllah, if you think about it, the punishment, it's not even like the punishment for sin is not even the punishment that comes, it's the sin itself. It's like if you know how painful it is that you live a life where you're not with Allah and you're not on the same page as Allah, and it just like it's that's a sufficient punishment. You know, like so you like so it's not even it's not even A for B. It's like you gave away the thing that you need. Right? So what did you achieve? Right? What do you achieve? Oh, I didn't pray in public. Okay, why did you pray in public? Because it's embarrassing. What did you achieve from that? Like, honestly, like you're at the airport and there's 10 people who are not looking at you, A, and B, don't care about you. And then you didn't pray because it was awkward. Like, what did you achieve? Nothing. Right. So this is the vignette. Like, what did you achieve? Nothing. You don't when you choose the dunya over the akhirah, you don't actually win anything. But if you choose the akhirah over the dunya, من اختار الدنيا عفوا من اختار الآخرة على الدنيا رابحهما. You get both. Right? So either win-win or lose-lose. So they lost out on everything. Quraysh, how do they benefit from going against the Prophet ﷺ? Jews, how do they benefit? Nothing. Right? ويوهمون أنه ليقبضوا به قيمة التحريف شيئا خسيسا من الدنيا. No, not much. You don't get much. Right? It's not actually worth it. It's not worth it. فعذاب go ahead.
فعذاب لهم على التحريف والتزوير، وعذاب لهم على الأموال مكتسبة،
مكتسبة أو مكتسبة؟
مكتسبة.
مكتسبة, right? أنا so هو يكتسب, he earns. فهو المكتسب. الأموال تكتسب, right? فهو المكتسبة. Yeah.
على الأموال المكتسبة، ثمن التحريف.
ثمنة. So this is حال as the price of changing the words of Allah. تحريف لكلام الله. نزلت هذه الآية كما قال العباس في أحبار اليهود الذين غيروا صفة النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وبدلوا نعته. Right. Okay. Okay. وقالت اليهود. Who's next? Sorry. What's the next verse? وقالوا لن تمسنا النار إلا أياما معدودة قل اتخذتم عند الله عهدا فلن يخلف الله عهده أم تقولون على الله ما لا تعلمون. Okay, who's Sheikh Mahmoud? Bismillah.
بسم الله. وقالت اليهود لن تسيبنا النار إلا أياما
النار. لن
قد
تصيبنا النار. The
لن
fire
تصيبنا
will not get
النار
us. Mhm.
لن تصيبنا النار إلا أياما قليلة 40 يوما مدة عبادة آه،
مدة, the period
مدة
of مدة. So
مدة عبادة
عبادة آبائهم العجل. Right. So they say we're going to be punished for 40 days because of what our forefathers worshipped the calf for those times, right? And that's it. Then I go to paradise. So again, the same philosophy, brother. Even if you go to hell, you come out, right? That's the philosophy. It's like here's Sheikh Mahmoud doing all these good things, and he's kind of like dumb, honestly, because look, if you just do a bit of haram, live life like everybody else, everybody does haram, right? We can all do haram, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he'll either forgive you because he's nice, or go to hell for a bit, khalas. So they actually for the irreligious Muslim, they look at the religious Muslim as like you're kind of like stupid because you don't know the system and you don't understand, like you're kind of missing out basically. You're like an imbalanced person, Because if you commit to the deen, it's like you gave up the dunya and you just kind of like for no reason, because Allah will forgive you anyway, right? So here's the problem with the irreligious Muslim. Number one, philosophy number one is you're assuming that you're going to die on Iman, which is not the case. So the religious Muslim knows that I may not die on Iman. That's why he's using every single ounce of energy and effort to like save himself. That, Ya Allah, I just want to die in Iman. That's my goal. With the irreligious Muslim, he's complacent. He thinks Iman is guaranteed. It's okay. I'm born a Muslim. My name's Ahmed. Khalas. I'm gonna die as a Muslim. Khalas. End of story. So eventually, anyway, that's number one. Number two, he doesn't understand how bad hellfire is. So it's like it's worth doing some of the haram as a balance, and the payment is hellfire. How bad can it be? And then he goes to hellfire for 1 second, and he's like, Subhanallah, I messed up. 1 split second of hellfire, and you're like, oh man, it wasn't worth it. So these are these two things. They don't understand how great Allah is and how great His punishment is. نبئ عبادي أني أنا الغفور الرحيم وأن عذابي هو العذاب الأليم. Tell my slaves, I am the very substance of forgiveness, and I'm very, very kind. But also tell them that my punishment alone is a painful punishment. You don't know what pain is until you come to hell. That was not pain. Seeing your children tortured in front of your eyes is not pain. That's not pain. I'll show you pain, right? So this is the problem: is that they balance things in the wrong way. They got one rupee at the cost of $50 trillion. Like what? That's a stupid thing to do. It's not. They're so they look at religious people. Oh, that guy's just dumb. Like doesn't really understand. Like Allah will forgive you, and don't worry about it. How do you know Allah will forgive you if you die as a kafir, right? And that's what happens when you persist in sin. That's like that. So this is the method. Same. There's nothing new under the sun, right? Nothing new. Like, oh, it's okay. There's a limit to it. Okay. Go ahead. هل أخذتم من
قل
عند الله? Go ahead.
قل لهم أيها النبي آه، آه، هل أخذتم من الله وعدا ألا يعظكم إلا هذه المدة
ألا يعذبكم.
ألا يعذبكم إلا هذه المدة إلا
Mhm.
هذه المدة
Mhm.
وحينئذ لا يخلف الله
So the same
وعده.
question. This person, he does haram, say, bro, chill. Allah's kind. One person told me this. They said, look, Allah does not need us to worship Him. It like clicked in his head that Allah doesn't need us, which is true. Allah does not need us to worship Him. Allah doesn't need us to desist from haram. It's true. So he's like, look, subhanallah, it clicked in my head like Allah doesn't need that, Allah doesn't need to punish us. There's no need, right? And so it's true. So you ask the question, how long do you think you're gonna go to? Do you think you're gonna go to hell? Says, I don't know. Okay, if you went to hell, how long would you go for? So I don't know. He says, okay, a week. So has Allah promised you that? That if you persist in sin, you're gonna go to a week, 10 days. And you say, are you gonna die on iman? And he says, yeah, I have strong iman. How do you know? Has Allah promised you that you're gonna die on iman? No. Any of us in this room right now, has Allah promised me? No. Okay, then act like it. You know? Like act like it, right? Mahmoud is my son, okay? Sheikh Mahmoud is my son. I give him a phone, okay? And he just smashes it on the floor and he's playing with it and playing frisbee with the phone. I'm not just gonna take it away, right? خلاص, I'm taking it away. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if man lam yashkur, what is it? Uh, what's the phrase? تعرض لوصفه when man lam yashkur, I can't forget the phrase now. I forget what it was. Something like man lam yashkurillah ala ni'ma. I can't remember the phrase now. Ta'arrada li zawaliha. Right? Whoever, if you don't appreciate a blessing Allah gives you, you make yourself vulnerable. What's the phrase? No, it's not that one. No. Ta'arrada li zawaliha. You make yourself vulnerable to lose it. So do we ask yourself, me and you, every single person, like, do you really appreciate the blessing of eternal paradise and being saved from eternal damnation? That's the situation you and I are in right now. You're in this classroom because you have Iman. If you died right now, you would have eternal bliss and you'd be saved from eternal damnation. Do you and I really appreciate that? No. Okay. قَدْ تَعَرَّضْنَا لِزَوَالِهَا. We have now said to Allah, hey, take it away, I don't mind. I don't mind. I'm willing to risk my Iman being taken away. Every single time you leave a sunnah, every single time you do a makruh, every single time you say the haram is okay, it's all right, it's not a big deal, you say, I am willing to play with eternal damnation. That's what you're saying. That's what it is, right? So any risk that you take, that means you're willing to play with the possibility of that happening. So this is why the believer is dead scared, this attitude, and this is why the Jew is like, yeah, whatever. I'm guaranteed paradise. I'm a Jew. I'm guaranteed paradise. Yes, I'll go to hell. Limited. I can deal with that. So assuming they can deal with hell, but they can't. Number one. وَمَا أَصْبَرَهُمْ عَلَى النَّارِ. Wow, they have some guts. Wow, they seem to be people who can really deal with hell, but you haven't been to hell. And you don't know what it's like. And you and
Mm.
so they don't think it's a big deal, and they think, oh, it's okay. It's not okay, right? Are you guaranteed paradise? No. Act like it then, right? That's why you have to act like it. Put your head down, look down, get on with it, because none of us are guaranteed paradise. Mm-hmm.
ب-
They don't
بل في
believe they don't believe they won't die on Iman, and they don't understand how bad hellfire is. Correct? Yeah, and they don't appreciate. Yeah, but that's basically it, Yusuf. Yeah. That's the method. That's the and that is the same thing with the person who does the suboptimal. You go into the bathroom, right? There's a weak hadith where the Prophet wore shoes. You're like, it's okay. I can afford not to follow that weak hadith. Really? Knock yourself out. If you can afford to do it, go ahead. It's up to you. If you can afford to do that, right? Drinking, I personally do not believe that it's makruh to drink standing up. Honestly, you know. There's a hadith about it, but there's a lot of other evidence. But again, so now I'm about to drink standing up, and I'm like, subhanallah, what if it's true? That's makruh, you know? So there's one thing is I'm going to leave the sunnah for a greater sunnah. Okay, I'm going to leave the makruh, I'm going to do the makruh for a reason. That's something else. I'm doing the haram for a reason, darura. That's something else. They're talking about you have no excuse. You have the time, the this, the that, the shoes are there, and you just can't be bothered to put them on. Really? That's the attitude of somebody who fears Allah? Like, that's not like if you have a history like mine, then you'd be like, yeah, yeah, let's let's change things a little bit, right? Because so we have to be dead scared. So the Jews, they're not scared enough, and what they want, and what are they trying to keep? They're trying to keep. We're the Jews. We're the chosen people. The Jews revere us. When you say, "Oh, Prophet Muhammad is now this thing," it's a problem. That's a huge problem. Like you've just lost your status and everything. You've lost your status, and now you're accepting that he's right and he knows everything. You spent 20 years memorizing the Torah. It doesn't really mean anything now, does it? Right? You spent 20 years studying fiqh al-Yahudi, and now it doesn't mean anything. Nobody reveres you anymore, right? You don't want to give that up. So you'd rather change things and keep your small little pocket of pride and at the loss of your whole akhirah. May Allah protect us. Okay, go ahead, Sheikh Mahmoud.
بل في الواقع تفترون على الله الكذب.
Al-kadhib.
روا
You could say kidhb as well,
ال-
yeah, but al-kadhib, we usually say, yeah.
ال- الكذب.
hmm
آه، رواه الطبري
hmm
عن ابن عباس آه، رضي الله عنه أن اليهود قالوا لن ندخل النار لن ندخل النار إلا آه،
Tahillat al-qasam. Tahillat al-qasam is
تحل.
from the word hil, like to get into the halal of something. Tahillat al-qasam is the period of time needed to fulfill the oath. Meaning there's basically we've been damned, basically. Our forefathers damned us by worshipping the calf. And so in order for that to be fulfilled, this has to happen. So like the Christians and the Jews, they have a lot of these things like, oh, this just has to happen. Like it doesn't have to happen, right? Or even what is it? Even the Maturidis to some extent. Maturidis, they say it is logically impossible for Allah to forgive a kafir. Like Allah has to forgive, Allah has to punish a kafir. So the Asharis, they don't say that. Allah does that by choice. He's not bound to do that. He doesn't
Yeah.
have to punish it. Like he send Fir'aun to the highest level of paradise. Why not? He can do whatever he wants. So anyway, this idea like there's this thing. This is like, oh, this happened, so this has to happen. You know, mankind sinned, so somebody has to suffer. So that's why God, sacrificed himself slash his son to, it doesn't have to happen. Someone has to take the punishment. So there's an oath, right? There's a vow that they will be punished. So khalas, when we die, 40 days you're gonna be in hell, and that's it. You're good to go. Right? الأيام التي
الأيام التي عبدنا آه، في
عبدنا.
عبدنا فيها فيها العجل فيها العجلة
Mhm.
40 ليلة.
العجل, the calf. العجل.
العجل
Mhm.
فيها العجل
Sorry,
40.
al-ijla. So عبدنا فيها al-ijla, that we worship the calf. Yeah, for.
مم.
فإذا انتقضت, when that time finishes, انقطع عنا العذاب. خلاص, no more punishment. فنزلت الآية. So notice how again, like for the Jews, it's kind of not really a personal God, right? It's almost like Zeus, you know? Like imagine you're worshiping Zeus, and then you accidentally broke Zeus's thing, and he's like, "Oh, because this happened, that has to happen." Like, yeah, but you could also just forgive me, right? But it's not like that. So it's like they're kind of like worshiping a system, worshiping, it's not really worshiping Allah. It's very different. Okay, khair. So then it says, بلى من كسب سيئة وأحاطت به خطيئته فأولئك أصحاب النار هم فيها خالدون. Okay, go ahead, who's next? Muhammad.
ليس الأمر كما زعمتم أيها اليهود، بل سيدخل النار كل من كفر بالله وكذب رسله وكل من أشرك وارتكب خطيئة ولم يت ولم يتب منها وأحاطت
Good. Is
به
that
سيئاته.
absolutely true? وكل من ارتكب خطيئة ولم يتب منها. Is that absolutely true?
No.
So is it true that every single person who does a sin and then does not repent and then dies will necessarily go to hell? It's not.
No.
So very important, this verse gives the sense that, which is the position of the Khawarij and the Mu'tazila, and I believe the Shia as well, is that if you do a major sin and you die, أحاطت به, and that sin has surrounded you, right? That this person is going to go to hellfire forever. Okay? وأحاط به سيئته ومات على كفره فهم أهل النار ماكثون فيها إلى الأبد. Okay? Does that make sense? So this verse, take it at face value, it tells us if you commit a sin and that sin surrounds you, then khalas, you're going to go in hell. خالدين فيها. You're going to be in hellfire forever. Okay? So very important. uh, any sect, right? Uh, how do you become sectarian and how do you do these things? By either taking some hadith or some verses and ignoring others, or over amplifying certain things. Okay, like your whole focus is this, your whole focus is that, right? Your whole focus is all about khilafah, the whole focus is all about dhikr, your whole focus is all about, I don't know what it is, the whole focus is, um, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the beginning of the Quran talks about the difference between Sayyidina Adam and the angels, and it's all about knowledge. So falsafa is the whole basis of Islam. You basically blow certain things out of proportion. So how do you become a balanced Muslim? You take the whole of the Quran, the whole of the Sunnah, and put it together. Right? It's all one thing and it all explains itself. And you put it all together and you say, yeah, Somebody who dies in sin, A, will not be in hellfire forever. B, Allah will choose whether to punish them or not. Right? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to give you the next one as well, Muhammad Hashir, because I didn't really give you a chance with that one. So it says, Bala man kasab. Okay, where are we? Bala man. Right. وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ أُولَٰئِكَ أَصْحَابُ الْجَنَّةِ هُمْ فِيهَا خَالِدُونَ. So notice the Quran gives us two camps: sinners and kuffar, and righteous believers. These are the two camps. Are you in the category of righteous believer, or are you in the camp of sinner slash disbeliever? Okay. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't mention sinful Muslim. Why? Because you're supposed to be in this, you're supposed to feel like you don't know where you are. You're supposed to feel like, oh, where am I going to go? Right? There's supposed to be this trepidation where it's like, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't say things like this. Okay, sinful Muslims, yeah, I might forgive you. Allah doesn't use that rhetoric. Allah doesn't say that. Allah says, this might happen, that might happen, right? If we put everything together, it is true. A sinful Muslim, A, will not be in hellfire forever. B, may just be forgiven like that. They may just be forgiven, right? However, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't talk like that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us A and B, and I'm like, well, I'm C. Where am I supposed to go? Right? So you have the fear of being in A and the hope of being in B. Right? Does that make sense? But again, taken on face value, you're going to say, are you a righteous Muslim? No. Okay, you're going to go to hellfire forever. But to take it at face value, that's what it says. Okay. Where are we? وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ أُولَٰئِكَ أَصْحَابُ الْجَنَّةِ هُمْ فِيهَا خَالِدُونَ. Go ahead, 82, Muhammad Hashir.
والذين آمنوا بالله وصدقوا برسالة رسوله وعملوا أعمال الصالحة التي أمر الله بها هم أهل الجنة مقيمون فيها على الدوام.
So you got to understand the Sahabi is like, oh, but I'm not there. So the Sahabi is, so the Prophet the rhetoric and the feel of the Quran and Hadith makes the sinner feel like, I don't know which category I'm in. Okay, so then afterwards, when it was not clear, people had to clearly state, look, it's like this, right? Because there was a confusion, right? So one is the how you're supposed to feel, which is you're supposed to feel like you don't know where you're going. But then in terms of Aqidah, like we understand, if you have Iman, you will eventually go to Jannah. That's how it is. Okay. وإذ أخذنا ميثاق بني إسرائيل لا تعبدون إلا الله وبالوالدين إحسانا. So notice the rhetoric here. It doesn't say don't worship other than Allah. It says you will not, right? So I go home and I tell my son, you are going to bed right now. You are going upstairs and you are going to wash your teeth and you are going to bed right now, right? As opposed to go upstairs, wash your teeth, and go to bed. So one is a statement. I'm telling you what's going to happen. I'm not even asking you to agree or disagree or comply or not comply. I'm just telling you. So it's very, very, very firm. Okay. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking, and remember when we took the firm pact with the children of Israel, telling them, you are not going to worship anything other than God, and you are going to be nice to your parents, and you are going to do this, right? Similarly, on the next page, the same thing. وَإِذَا أَخَذْنَا مِيثَاقَكُمْ لَا تَسْفِكُونَ دِمَاءَكُمْ. You are not going to kill each other. I'm just telling you now. This is just not on the menu. It's not in the agenda. It's not an option. That is not going to happen. Okay? So again, take it at face value. What do we say, Sheikh Ammar? If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Bani Israel that you are not going to kill each other's blood, take each other's blood, and then they spill each other's blood, and then they did, what does it tell us on a face value?
At face value, that they're going against the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala somehow.
Yeah, so it means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't know what's happening. A'udhu billah, right? So again, here's this issue with again with the Salafi kind of approach is like, oh, there's no majaz in the Quran. It's like, Habibi, if there's no majaz in the Quran, you have serious problems, right? Rather, the whole of the Quran is majaz, right? وَإِذْ أَخَذْنَا مِيثَاقَكُمْ. Who's being spoken to? The Jews at the time of the Prophet. Okay, but you're referring to the people of the past, right? You're not going to spill each other's blood. That's metaphor, right? Like everything's metaphorical. Like Ibn Jinni, he says, like when you say, for example, Zayd opened the door, the word open, is that a general term that applies to all opening? Yeah. Is all opening the same? No. Okay, so you've referred to something that is khas with something that's am. That's metaphor, right? And did he actually open the door or did he move the hinges of the door? You know, like language, basically like 99.9% of language is metaphorical. So, and Quran's no exception, right? So claiming that things are not metaphorical, you have a serious problem of you actually understand what metaphor is, right? Okay, go ahead, Muhammad Hashir. Okay, so who was next? Sorry. So I didn't read the whole thing. ثم توليتم إلا قليلا منكم وأنتم معرضون. Bismillah. Are we on? Who's next? Is 83? Is this Ammar or is this somebody else before Ammar? Hamza, Bismillah. Yeah, his name is actually Ibn Geni, not Ibn Jinni. Yeah.
Okay, good.
It's like Arabized. It sounds like the son of a Jinni. Yeah. But I think it's actually Ibn Geni, which is some kind of Persian name.
That
Yeah.
would make more sense. Okay.
Yeah. But they have names like that, right?
Subhanallah.
Yeah, they have names like that, yeah. Umayyah ibn Khalaf, right? Umayyah means little slave girl. Like, how's this big guy called little slave girl? Doesn't make sense. Beni Umayyah, the sons of a little slave girl. Jariyah, they have that. Juwayriya, it's a man's name, Juwayriya. Little slave girl as well. It's weird, right? Tha'laba, vixen. You called a man vixen, female fox. Like, why would you? I have no idea. There's lots of really strange names.
Subhanallah.
Alhamdulillah. Okay. واذكر أيها الرسول. بسم الله. Hamza. Ibn Sunni, that makes sense, right? Yeah.
Okay. واذكر أيها الرسول مضمون الميثاق المأخوذ على بني إسرائيل وهو إفراد الله بالعبادة والإحسان no.
والإحسان.
والإحسان إلى الوالدين بالمعاشرة بالمعروف والتواضع لهما
والتواضع.
والتواضع لهما وامتثال أمرهما.
So here's a question, Sheikh Hamza. Do you think I show more respect to my teachers than my dad?
No.
Yes, I did. My dad passed away, rahimahullah. I remember once I was picking up my dad's shoes, and my dad looked at me and said, "Bro, chill out. Like, what are you doing? So it's very, very common that people will show more respect to shuyukh than their parents, right? My brother was in this situation. This is like a long time ago. So my dad was leaving to the airport. He was in Jordan. My brother was in Jordan studying. And there was some trip. Some sheikh is going to visit some other sheikhs. And it's like, oh yeah, let's go on this trip with the sheikh. Da, 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 da. So then the sheikh came up to my brother, was like, you went with your dad, right? He's like, no, I went with the shuyukh. He said, your respect to your father is equal or if not greater than your respect to your teacher. The issue is number one, familiarity, right? It's like, here's your dad. Like when you get to a certain age, right? You guys are a bit younger, most of you, but like my age, Sheikh Yusuf's age, is like your parents are like, I mean, they become a bit like kids, right? Like your parents become a bit like kids. You are capable. They'll be like, yeah. Your dad's like, oh, I can't open the car. Like, yeah, just the button's here. Like you live with this person, or like they can't make decisions. They're like, oh, should I travel or not? And they're like, I don't know. Why are you asking me? It's kind of like strange, right? They become, what happens is with adults is they become like children again. So it's very hard now to have this reverence and awe for them because like you live with them. Maybe they're not religious, so it's like it's kind of hard to respect you. Maybe they're cruel to you, right? And they say things they shouldn't say. This person's making riba all the time, and like, Dad, we shouldn't say that. So it's very hard to do that. So this is real iman. Iman outside of the house doesn't count. Iman is with your parents and with your wife. That's iman, or your husband. Everybody can be like, Sheikh, Habib, so and so, Sheikh, so and so, please make dua for me, and be very respectful and stand when he stands and kiss his hand and say, please, can you sign my copy of your book, and yada, yada, yada. Everybody can do that. It's easy because it's showbiz, right? And everyone, there's this distance. But when it's like, can you revere your parents as they should be revered? That's iman, right? Despite everything, can you revere your husband despite the fact that he's not actually that amazing, right? It's very difficult, very hard for a woman to do that. Like, dude, I live with this guy. The guy's a jerk. Like, he's not that bad, but he's kind of a bit of an idiot. I like he does lots of mistakes, whatever. One of my friends, he said, I got married, he got married at 15. He said, I just basically embarrassed myself, like beyond repair, because like I'm 15, she's 15. A 15-year-old girl is like a 20-year-old man, and he's just like doing stupid stuff all the time, you know? So it's just like, I've known you for like 20 years, and I just know you as a kid. Forever, you'll be that stupid, dumb 15-year-old who proposed to me, married me, didn't really do the wedding properly, didn't really do this properly, didn't do work properly, everything was just off, and you're just like dumb. So it's super hard for a woman to respect her husband. Super hard, but this is Iman. Iman is you're not worshipping the Kaaba, you're worshipping the Lord of the Kaaba. Oh, yeah, that's right. You're not showing respect to your parents, you're showing you're showing respect to Allah through your parents. You're not showing respect to your husband, you're showing respect to Allah through your husband. But that's very difficult, right? And so, I think everybody here, any sisters here right now? There's no sisters here. But what's it called? The next time you like, oh, my wife doesn't show respect to me. It's like, bro, do you show respect to your parents? Really? It's like, it's very hard. It's very hard to do that because it's all about Iman. Like, can you see what's happening? Do you see your parents as a Kaaba? No, that's very difficult, right? It's very difficult. It's just so hard. And you'll see anybody, you see me around my parents and be like, man, the guy's disrespectful. Because I'm like, maybe chill with them, maybe I speak to them a certain way, whatever it is, and you're like, oh, I thought Sheikh Farid would be like this. Yeah, it's hard, you know? It's hard. And what we should say is like, oh, the way that we might revere a teacher, you know? The way that you might revere somebody, like that's like 1/10 of the way that should be with parents. Your parents are like a lot, they're like the closest thing to Allah's kun fayakun. You came into the world because of them. But deserves respect. You exist because of them. They taught you, for most of us, they taught you your faith, right? You're here because of them. Yes, they make mistakes, right? But that doesn't change anything because you're not respecting them. You're respecting Allah through them, right? وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. Go ahead.
والإحسان إلى القرابة
Mm-hmm.
بصلة الرحم وأداء الحقوق
Mm-hmm.
والإحسان إلى الأيتام الذين فقدوا آباءهم في الصغر قبل البلوغ
Mm-hmm.
وإلى المساكين الذين ليس لديهم ما ينف- ينفقون على حوائجهم
Mm-hmm.
والقول الحسن للناس بالكلمة الطيبة والمعاملة الحسنة.
Right. So they say, how do you know somebody? You know somebody when you travel with them, when you do business with them, and when you're in jail with them. That's how you know somebody. So this person's amazing. Somebody again texted me the other day. They're like, Sheikh, I want to be like you. They're like, Habib Albi, you have no idea what I'm like. You don't want to be like me, right? But if you're in prison with this person, yeah, this is the real you. This person's in prison now. What are they like in prison? What are they like when they're tired, right? And they missed a flight and they had to pay out of pocket for a flight that wasn't even their fault. How do they talk to people, right? There's one sheikh, for example, my friend went on with one sheikh on Hajj, and he's like, Subhanallah, I'm so what's it called? Like I don't want to be around that sheikh ever again in my life. Like really bad akhlaq, like under pressure, oof, not enough sleep, not right food, not this, not that, really not nice. And it's like, oh, okay, Alhamdulillah, he's a sheikh, he's knowledgeable. We benefit from his knowledge, inshallah. But that's not deen, right? So this is what you want to be. These are the kind of people this is now the real metal of somebody, right? You're in jail for no reason, right? You are traveling, you're tired. This is akhlaq. Don't tell me about akhlaq in front on TV, right? Tell me about akhlaq when you close the door, when you close the bedroom door, when you when you're tired, when you haven't had your morning coffee, when you've been wronged. This is now akhlaq. Everything else is easy, right? So here, this is what? Being nice to people. وإقامة الصلاة في أوقاتها, right? Iqama means to do things properly. So it doesn't mean to pray. It means to pray properly. Pray properly. Pray in jama'ah when possible and pray on time, right? There was focus. Inwardly, outwardly, the prayer was valid. Inwardly, there was focus, right? It was done properly. This is called Iqama Salah. Go ahead.
وإيتاء الزكاة للمستحقين
Mm-hmm.
ثم أعرضتم أيها اليهود عن هذا الميثاق فلم تعملوا به
إلا العدد القليل, yeah.
إلا العدد القليل منكم كعبد الله بن سلام
Mm-hmm.
وأصحابه الذين نفذوا الميثاق وأنتم معرضون
نفذوا نفذوا
الذين
تنفيذ is to do something. Yeah. نفذوا الميثاق.
الذين نفذوا الميثاق وأنتم معرضون عن تنفيذه كفرا وعنادا.
Mhm. وإذ أخذنا ميثاقكم لا تسفكون دماءكم ولا تخرجون أنفسكم من دياركم ثم أقررتم وأنتم تشهدون. So notice the mirror here. There's this mithaq with the Jews, and the Jews didn't keep to the mithaq, and then the Muslims are being told the same thing. Don't kill each other's blood, right? Don't kill each other, right? And that's what we do. ولا تخرجون أنفسكم من دياركم, right? This is what you see when a Muslim country goes down, the Muslims, their first and most violent crimes are against other Muslims. You saw, for example, what was it with ISIS in Iraq? What did they do? Go and get all the girls, take them as sex prisoners from the Muslims. It's like subhanallah. I mean, I'm not saying they're right, but it's like why is your first target Muslims, right? Honestly, it's like that. The first target of Muslims is Muslims, always. Right? Like hatred between themselves. Like it's really twisted and messed up, you know? Okay, وَإِذْ أَخَذْنَا مِيثَاقَكُمْ لَا تَسْفِكُونَ دِمَاءَكُمْ وَلَا تُخْرِجُونَ أَنفُسَكُم مِّن دِيَارِكُمْ ثُمَّ أَقْرَرْتُمْ. ثُمَّ means not then, and on top of that. And on top of that, أَقْرَرْتُمْ, you said yes. وَأَنْتُمْ تَشْهَدُونَ, you were all witness. Okay, go ahead. Who's Ammar, I think? You're in the car. Okay, no worries. Back to Yusuf then.
Okay. اذكروا يا معشر اليهود حين أخذنا العهد المؤكد عليكم في كتابكم التوراة ألا يقتل بعضكم
ألا يقتل.
ألا يقتل بعضكم بعضا وألا
يخرجه.
وألا يخرجه أو يطرده يطرده من داره كرها أو ظلما.
كرها وظلما, yeah.
كرها أو ظلما.
You can say karha. I think the word karha is also used. There's a slight difference in kurhan and karhan, but I think that you can say both. ثم اعترفتم.
ثم اعترفتم وقبلتم بالميثاق.
وقبلتم. قبلتم means you were accepted.
وقبل.
Right. قتل, he was killed, right? قبلتم, then you were accepted. You want to say ثم اعترفتم وقبلتم.
وقبلتم.
أنا قبلت, right? قبلت, right? Not قبلت. قبلت ما شاء الله قبلت في ما شاء الله في the magister, mashallah, they accepted me to do my master's. قبلت, right? I was accepted. قبلت, I accepted.
وقبلتم بالميثاق المأخوذ عليكم
Good.
أنتم تشهدون على أنفسكم بذلك وتقرون بهذا العهد وتعلمون أنه عهد الله في التوراة.
Good. Then it says ثم, and then. So these thummas don't mean then as in time. They mean like, oh my God, you crazy? Right? On top of that, ثم أنتم هؤلاء, then you right here, تقتلون. Notice to put it into present tense. Here, and then here you are, killing your own selves, meaning your own people. وتخرجون فريقا منكم من ديارهم. Right? And subhanAllah, this is what happens, right? Think about marriage. Same thing. It's like make your wife your sister. How would you want her to be treated? You know? You're like, oh yeah, makes sense. Or make your wife your daughter, right? Or make your wife your mum. Imagine like your wife was your mum. How would you want her to be treated? It's like that. Is your wife anybody else other than somebody's mother, somebody's sister, somebody's daughter, right? So yeah. So what we do is we separate ourselves from other people. Like, no, it's not. He's not of us, right? That person's from another city. That person's from another clan. That person's something else, right? What's the phrase in Arabic? أنا وابن أخوي was it أنا وابن عمي على أنا was it أنا the phrase is أنا وأخوي على ابن عمي وأنا وابن عمي على الغير. Right? This is phrase in colloquial Arabic, like it's me and my brother against my cousin, and me and my cousin against anybody else. It's like you continue like you're trying to find like what you are and who you're against. There's always you're against somebody, right? And it's like subhanallah, you are one people, right? You're تقتلون أنفسكم, you're killing yourselves. So you're doing تقتلون أنفسكم, right? فريقا منكم من ديارهم, right? تظاهرون, they're helping one another, right? You're being a ظهر to one another. تظاهرون عليهم, teaming up against بالإثم والعدوان. وإن يأتوكم أسارى تفادوهم وهو محرم عليكم إخراجهم. It was already haram for you to kick these people out of the house. So now these other Muslims, these are other believers of your time, and you are having them imprisoned, and then you're having people pay ransom for them. تفادوهم, you're having people pay ransom for them. Even it was haram for you to kick them out to begin with. أفتؤمنون ببعض الكتاب وتكفرون ببعض. Notice Muslims, right? That's how it is. You go to any Muslim country, like, this is really important. The other thing's not important. Like here in Malaysia, you have to pray on a prayer mat. Very, very important. You can't pray on the floor, even if it's clean. But then the deen doesn't apply in like 50,000 angles of your life. Yemen, same thing. Egypt, same thing. Pakistan, same thing. Like, this is really important in the deen. That's not important in the deen. فَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِبَعْضِ الْكِتَابِ وَتَكْفُرُونَ بِبَعْض. Right? Again, this is the irreligious Muslim. Allah applies in my life in certain things. If somebody dies, we have to do Surah Yasin, etc., etc., etc. Really important. Otherwise, nothing else counts. فما جزاء من يفعل ذلك منكم إلا خزي في الحياة الدنيا ويوم القيامة يردون إلى أشد العذاب وما الله بغافل عما تعملون. Okay, 85. Where are we? Sheikh Mahmoud.
Yes, sir. ثم أنتم هؤلاء المشاهدون لحاذرون في عهد النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم تخالفون ما أخذه الله عليكم في التوراة في ف- فيقتل بعضكم بعضا فيقتل بعضكم بعضا وتعينون المشركون
So here he's
المشركين.
taking one explanation. He's saying that this is not talking to the Jews of the past who killed each other. He's talking about now. We are believers. You are believers too, or you should be believers. And now you are تقتلون أنفسكم. You're killing yourselves when you're helping when the Jews are helping the mushrikeen against the Muslims. You're killing yourselves, right? That's how he's explaining it. وتعينون المشركين على أبناء دينكم بتعريضهم للقتل وطردهم من منازلهم بلا سبب يحل به ذلك وإن بالمعصية والظلم وإن وإن أسر يأسر إن أسر go ahead
وإن أسر الأعداء أحدا منكم
أحد منكم
أعداء أحدا منكم وجاءكم يطلب الفداء
يطلب الفداء asking for ransom لنفسه
يطلب الفداء لنفسه أنخذتموه من
من الأسر من
من
الأسر
الأسر
So we
الأسر
use the phrase
بدفع الفدية.
we use the phrase بأسره. So asr is being taken as captive. So we say, for example, الدنيا بأسرها, right? The world in totality, be like in captivity. So بأسره. Yeah. بدفع
الأسر بدفع
الفدية.
الفدية إيمانا بما في التوراة آه، أي لا تنفذون من تعاليم التوراة إلا
تعاليم التوراة
التوراة إلا فداء
إلا فداء الأسرى فقط. So you say, oh, the Torah tells us to do this, you know? So you give him a glass of vodka, he drinks it. You give him some pork, he doesn't drink it. He doesn't eat it. Why? It's haram, bro. Right. علما,
علما
we're running out of time here. علما, out of knowledge that أنه محرم عليكم إخراجهم من ديارهم وهذا توبيخ على تناقضهم. It's a توبيخ is to like heavily browbeat somebody and heavily tell them off على تناقضهم, the inconsistency. لأن الأسر نتيجة الإخراج من الديار, because the only reason why they were that they were imprisoned is because they kicked them out of the houses. فكيف تفعلون الشيء وتبطلون نتيجته? How can you do something and then negate its and then do the opposite of its result. وكيف تصدقون ببعض التوراة الذي يوجب المفاداة وتكفرون ببعضه الذي يحرم القتل والإخراج؟ ذلك بسبب تحالف بني قينقاع مع الخزرج والنضير والقريظة مع الأوس وإعانة كل فريق حلفائه على إخراجه. So you're basically saying, okay, I'm going to help each other, help these other people. So here again, the understanding is that they are the same people in that the Jews are supposed to be Muslims. That's why they shouldn't be doing that. فالجزاء على هذا التناقض خزي وظلم في الدنيا وأشد العذاب في الآخرة بسبب التلاعب بالآيات. You're playing around with all verses. والله مطلع على أعمالكم ومجازيكم عليها. He's fully aware of these things, right? The other explanation has got nothing to do with what's happening there, but it's way back in the past. And Allah is saying, look, these Jews, they were told to do one thing, they did the opposite. So don't expect them to listen, right? So it's a totally different tafsir. Wallahu a'lam. Khair, inshallah. We'll stop here. Wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi sallam. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.